everybody and welcome to this week's vlog. This week I thought I would make a video about what tack to wear in the show ring. Lots of people have requested this video, so I've got my show bridal for Finley out and I thought I would go through the do's and don'ts of what to wear for your horse in the show ring. So I thought I'd start out with the bridle and what sort of bridle you should wear in the show ring. So it's completely dependent on the breed or type you are showing. But I'll start off with Finley, who has been shown as a veteran and a riding horse currently. But I'll also add in some videos of when we used to show him as a Connemara and when we used to show him in the Working Hunter Platted classes. So this is the bridle Finley wore at the London International Horse Show. He qualified as a small riding horse. Finley has always been in a rugby pelham, which is a pelham that looks like it's a double, but it's not. I'll show you that in the bag in a minute. But we moved him into a double bridle because it is more correct for horse types. So if you've got a hack, hunter, cob, riding horse, it is traditional for them to be in a proper double bridle. Obviously not all horses like that, so some people show in pelhams or types of pelhams, and if you're showing in a novice class, usually a snaffle or a Wilkie snaffle is used. So we're going to start off with the bit. So these are his double bits, which is this is called the Bridal and the Weymouth. If you're using a double bridle, they should have a chain attached to the curb and also a lip strap. So that is the full look. I don't think the bits work effectively if you don't have a curb attached. And the lip strap, I believe, is if anything happens, like the chain hooks off, that you've still got support. I believe that's the idea of a lip strap. It's still very dirty. I haven't actually cleaned it since London, which is very naughty. Right, moving on. So you can start off by seeing it's got two cheek pieces, and when it sits in the horse's mouth, God, I'm making a right hash of this. The snaffle sits like this, over the front, like over the front of it, okay? And the snaffle sits higher in the horse's mouth. It's probably a clearer video. Okay. So yeah, you can have that with, I mean, it is down to, you know, what your horse likes, but it is traditional for showing for a horse to be in a bridle with two reins generally. This does exclude novice classes and like children's classes, but generally open type classes, your horse will be in a double bridle or a pelham of some sort. That's just a tradition thing. God, I nearly lost my tongue then. Yeah, it's just a tradition thing. I don't know where it comes from, but yeah, especially like a hunter would expect it to be in a double bridle. Moving on, we're going to the noseband. Now, the noseband is a great tool to use to make your horse's head look more in balance. So Finley used to have quite a fine noseband. But he doesn't have a very pretty head, like no offence to Finley, he has quite a meaty head. And we just thought we'd try playing with nosebands. And my showing instructor was like, you need a really thick noseband on him because it will make his head look more balanced. Yeah, and it does look so much better. So we've got quite a thick noseband. I can't tell you how many inches it is, but I just kind of got a piece of paper and cut out and tried different thicknesses that way. But some of these saddleries are really good at helping you find the right noseband. Moving up, you'll notice this razzle dazzle. This is a Show Pony Prep brow band. It has removable, these like de-velcro, which is quite cool. You can de-velcro these, which is pretty cool. Traditional brow band colours are red, white, navy, blue. Some people have burgundy. I can't tell you why they're like the traditional colours, but generally these are the colours worn in the show ring. Personally, I wouldn't go for colours kind of out of that colour zone because it just kind of stands out for the wrong reasons. You're looking for a bridle that like makes the horse's head look better, and you don't want to draw the eye to any of the bad zones, if that makes sense. I used to have a different brow band for Finley with more white in it, but it didn't kind of draw the eye to the right places. So we went for a very, very traditional brow band. So horses you would have a brow band on are your hacks, your show ponies, your riding horses. I think that's about it. I don't think there's any other types. You would not put this sort of brow band on a cob or a hunter or like a fell or an M&M. So this is strictly for your plaited show pony types, okay? Yeah, and this probably isn't the most informative video either, but I don't actually know why only those types have it. Again, it all comes from the origins of showing. Followed by the headpiece, and you can see the slip head thing over here. So this is Finley's. This is a sort of typical riding pony, riding horse, hack bridle. If you had a horse with a very dainty, pretty head, you'd obviously have a much thinner noseband. But we're trying to balance Finley's head out to make it look finer than what it is. So yeah, so this is the bit Finley used to be in, which is a rugby pelham, and literally it's just a normal pelham, but it has these snaffle rings on the side to make it look like you're in a double bridle. Yeah, and Finley does go really, to be fair, Finley is the sort of horse that goes very well in most of the bridles he's ridden in. He's quite good like that. And you would have a plaited rein on the snaffle ring and a plain rein on your bottom ring. And generally when you have anything like double bit wise, pelham wise, you would ride off the snaffle rein, not the pelham rein, because you don't want this to be pulling like this in the horse's mouth. You want to be riding off the snaffle. So we're now going to look at Donnie's bridle, who is my middleweight hunter. I've been riding him like an hour ago, so I thought I'd show you the footage at him in his double bridle and how it differs from Finley's bridle. So the first thing you'll notice is Donnie's bridle is completely plain. It's just plain leather. I choose to show Donnie in brown tack. That is just more traditional. However, there's nothing stopping you showing in black tack. So Donnie's noseband is much thicker than Finley's, and overall the thickness of Donnie's bridle is just a much chunkier bridle. Because Donnie has a much bigger head, Donnie's in an extra full bridle. We want a bridle that flatters his head shape. If I put him in, say, Finley's bridle, his head would look really, really huge and bulky. So we've still got a plaited top rein, the same as Finley has. And if I was going to show a cob, it would be a similar bridle to this. However, the noseband would be even thicker to complement a cob's large head. Here are all the different nosebands you can get, and for flat showing classes you can only really wear the Cavesson and the Cavesson crank. So we are now moving on to the show saddle. This is Finley's show saddle. It is a black country classic. This one is in a 17-inch and it is designed just to fit me and show off Finley. So it's got a very straight cut edge to show off the horse's shoulder and allow movement. Unlike the dressage saddle, it has a very small knee roll. The saddle isn't as supportive as other saddles like a dressage saddle or a jump saddle. It's very flat, and the idea is it makes the horse look its best. Without all that extra panelling, it's very slim fitted, it's very pretty. This is paired up with a plain leather girth, matching the leather of your bridle and saddle, along with a very minimalistic sheepskin numna. This is from Courtly, and as you can see, this was actually cut around the saddle. So when it goes underneath the saddle, you would not see anything bar a very thin line of fluff around the edge. And if you had a horse that was, say, a little bit long in the back, you might have a numna with a little bit more fluff on the back to kind of balance the horse out. So if you didn't have a show saddle, I would personally use my GP saddle. Dressage saddles can be quite bulky. They have quite a lot of panelling underneath, and also those long straps can draw the eye to the girth area. So I don't ever use a dressage saddle. I would rather use a GP saddle. Both of my horses actually have jump saddles for every day and show saddles for when they're competing, and the jump saddles are for when they do working hunter, obviously, and then their other jump classes. I just like the support of a jump saddle for everyday use. So moving on, we're going to look at working hunter tack, which is pretty lenient. With working hunter, you can literally have any bridle, martingale, breastplate, whatever you like. As for flat classes, you cannot have a martingale or breastplate, a cropper, anything like that. But for the working hunter classes, you can literally have any bit bridle type you like. If it's a novice class, you may be expected to wear a snaffle. You can wear your jump saddle, your GP saddle, whatever saddle you like to jump in, as long as you have a nicely fitted numna, the same as what you would for the flat classes. The only other rule about tack and wear is your horses can generally jump in a pair of front brushing boots only. However, the rules do vary. Welcome to my very, very messy tack room. I have a lot of stuff, but I just thought I'd come in here and show you my bridles. So in this bag is Donnie's show bridle. God, this is Donnie's double bridle with a super thick noseband, and all the leather is like much thicker than Finley's bridle. He has a GFS Monarch for every day. Finley has a Canton Master saddle, both jump saddles. This is Donnie's everyday bridle, which I use for working hunter. He's got a flash on there. This sort of noseband wouldn't be okay for like flat classes. Even if I took this bit off, like it's far too fine. It's raised. And it's got all this white stitching on it. But it's fine for working hunter. And as well, like these clips aren't ideal for showing. Now this is what I wanted to show you. Let me put it in the light. Stay bridle, stay. This is Finley's working hunter bridle. It's got a plaited leather brow band. This is from LW Equine. It's also got plaited leather reins. This is what we use whenever we do M&M working hunter pony classes. If I was doing a plaited class, I would probably swap this for a plain brow band. And if I was going to do a flat class, I would take the grackle off and swap it for a cavesson. Yeah, so if I was doing an M&M like novice class, I would just change the noseband. And if I was doing like an M&M flat class, I would have this sort of style bridle. God, it's dark, so apologies. Your classic show bridle. But I'd just swap the noseband out so it's not so thick. And I'd probably put this sort of brow band on for an M&M. But some horses suit plain better. And the plaited leather reins, if you're just in a snaffle, and if you're in the double, then you have the reins, your top reins like this, plaited, and your bottom reins plain. So I hope you have enjoyed today's vlog, and I hope you might have learned something from it. Hopefully I've been kind of helpful. If you have any questions, please add them in the comments, or you can message me on Instagram or Facebook. But yeah, hopefully that's helped you guys. And if you are still a little bit unsure of what your tack should look like or what you need to wear, I really recommend just going on YouTube, typing in the class that you're going to enter, whether that's coloured or cob or whatever class you're doing. Have a look at some of the footage. You can also have a look on Horse and Country TV from like shows, and you can get a good idea of what happens in a show, what you want to wear, And yeah, it's just a really great way of learning. So I hope you've enjoyed today's vlog, and thank you so much for supporting us. Bye.